Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, let's just jump right in. Take a quick, deep breath. Today, we are stepping completely away from the noise, the endless notifications and all those chaotic demands of everyday life. We're actually going to shift our focus entirely away from trying to control the uncontrollable external world around us. Instead, we're turning our gaze inward. We're going to explore how emotional intelligence is this incredibly profound tool we can use to literally clean up our inner peace. It's all about making that huge transition from living in external chaos to finding genuine internal mastery.
So let me ask you a very direct, honestly kind of deeply personal question right off the bat. Is your inner world a paradise? I mean, when we think of a paradise, we usually picture this beautiful physical destination, right? Pristine beaches, perfect weather, total relaxation. But sit back for a minute and do a quick check of your internal state. Think about your world of thoughts, your feelings, your memories, your intentions. Is that space inside your head pure, clean, and in harmony?
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the baseline, where we'll look at the fundamental difference between our inner and outer worlds.
Think about it like this. We're basically living in two completely different environments at the exact same time. There's the world outside us, which is made up of other people, random situations, and our physical surroundings. And then there is the world inside, made up entirely of our thoughts, our feelings, and our true intentions. And here's the crazy part. Often, the outside world might look absolutely perfect. We might have the right job, the perfect house, the great family. But on the inside, we're experiencing a total storm of stress, anxiety, or resentment. We spend so much energy trying to perfectly curate the outside, but we completely ignore the weather on the inside.
It's wild when you really think about it. We spend massive amounts of time, money, and architectural genius ensuring the physical buildings we live and work in are built on rock-solid, unshakable foundations. We want them to survive literal earthquakes. Yet, we completely neglect building an unshakable mind. An unshakable internal foundation means developing a state of mind so exceptionally strong that absolutely no external tremor, no bad situation, and no difficult person can shift its innate purity and peace. If we don't build this, even the slightest little bump in our day is going to bring our whole inner world crashing down. Which brings us right into Section 2, the trap of control. We constantly fall into this relentless, exhausting cycle that just shakes our mental foundation all day long.
Just think about these daily tremors we face. The kids have completely turned the living room into a wrestling ring. Your staff isn't following your instructions. Someone didn't say thank you for your hard work. We run into these trivial, completely mundane frustrations back to back all day long. And every single time we get irritated, anxious, or angry over these little things, our internal foundation takes a hit. It shakes, and because it's constantly shaking over the small stuff, it gets incredibly weak. So when a truly massive life challenge actually shows up, we literally have zero emotional power left in the tank to deal with it.
Actually, let's look a little closer why we get so irritated in the first place. We constantly say things just aren't going right. But you know what? That's an incomplete sentence. The real honest sentence is, things are not going right, according to me. My way is honestly nothing more than a perception. If you ask your staff, they'd probably say they're working perfectly fine, but you're just impossible to please. What is absolutely right for you might feel totally wrong to someone else. Everyone has a completely different definition of what is right based on how they grew up, their culture, and their personal beliefs.
So we really have to stop and ask ourselves, do we genuinely have the power to change someone else's mind? I mean, we exhaust ourselves barking instructions at our spouses, our kids, or coworkers, telling them exactly how to sit, talk, work, and behave. And when they don't follow our perfect little script, we think it's perfectly justified to get mad. But can you actually control a mind that was raised in a totally different environment with an entirely different set of life experiences? No way!
Now, what's really interesting here is this profound epiphany. Taking charge of my own mind is easy. Controlling other minds is literally impossible. We live in this heavy, oppressive illusion that it's somehow our life's mission to change other people. We think changing our own bad habits is way too hard, but somehow changing someone else is our true purpose. It's completely backward. Letting go of that desperate need to control others is actually the first major step to securing your own inner paradise.
And this huge shift in perspective leads us right into Section 3, healing emotional ailments. Once we finally drop that illusion of control, it totally revolutionizes how we interact with the people we love.
Let's break down how this destructive cycle actually plays out in real life. Take a husband whose wife is constantly doubting him, asking where he is, who he's with, you know the drill. Step 1. The difficult behavior happens, the doubt. Step 2, the husband's ego feels instantly attacked. He's thinking, I'm a good guy, how dare she doubt me? Step 3, he responds with irritation, anger, and gives her the cold shoulder. He punishes her. And this exact cycle destroys relationships every single day, because we are responding to a perceived attack with a literal attack.
And this brilliantly illustrates our massive double standard. Think about it. If a family member has a physical ailment, like they break their leg, we immediately rush in with care, compassion, and complete acceptance. We certainly don't yell at them for limping, but if someone is suffering from an emotional ailment, like severe insecurity, intense doubt, or anger, we respond with our ego. We get offended, and we actually attack them for their emotional handicap.
We absolutely have to reframe how we view difficult behavior. Listen, if someone is constantly doubting you or lashing out in anger, they are in deep, deep emotional pain. They are suffering from serious internal turmoil. When you finally realize that the person who's frustrating you is actually just a soul in pain, your entire perspective shifts from anger to compassion. Because honestly, why would you ever want to inflict more pain on someone who is already hurting so much?
There's this heartbreaking example from the source material about a 14-year-old girl. She actually confessed she was starting to hate her own mother because her mom was just naturally more physically beautiful and always got more attention. Now, the girl's hostility wasn't really about the beauty at all. Those are classic symptoms of an emotional illness. She was suffering from low self-esteem, a massive inferiority complex, and an intense fear of rejection. Her negative, angry aura was just a defense mechanism to protect herself.
So how do we fix it? Well, healing these emotional ailments, whether it's a doubting partner or a really insecure teenager, requires pure positive energy and absolute acceptance. True love actually means accepting the emotional handicaps of the other person. You don't punish them for being insecure. Instead, you radiate this positive, healing aura that builds trust up, making them feel genuinely safe enough to finally heal their own internal wounds.
And that leads us to our final parts. Section 4, my response, my creation. This is really the ultimate realization of emotional intelligence. It's the shift from being a helpless victim of your circumstances to becoming the actual architect of your inner world. Consider the story of this 65-year-old retired judge. He spent his entire life hyper-focused on his career, totally distancing himself from his wife and his 2 sons. Now he's retired, intensely lonely, but feels like he has no idea how to bridge that gap. But the solution is actually pretty simple. Step 1, stop blaming the family dynamic. Step 2, look inward and take personal responsibility. He had to realize he was the one who built the barrier. And step 3, simply remove that wall of ego. By just dropping his ego and radiating a new, humble energy without demanding anything back, decades of distance can start to heal almost instantly. It doesn't take massive effort, just a fundamental shift in his internal energy.
This empowered state of being is called Atma-Nirbhar, which basically translates to true self-reliance or independence. It's this profound state where your internal peace is completely untethered from external behaviors, harsh words, or bad situations. Think about it. If someone speaking harshly to you completely ruins your entire day, you are essentially their slave. You've handed them your emotional remote control. True independence means taking that remote control back.
So the crucial point here is summed up perfectly in just 5 words. My response is my creation. Look, you absolutely cannot choose the situations you're going to face today. You can't choose how your kids are going to behave, what your boss is going to say to you, or the random obstacles that are going to pop up. But whether you respond with anger or with calm, whether you choose your ego or choose compassion, that response is entirely 100% your own creation.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this final thought. Start looking at the people in your life not as little projects you need to control, but as souls who might just occasionally need your compassionate healing. Guard your inner paradise fiercely by refusing to let external turbulence dictate your internal weather. The power has literally always been in your hands. So, as you step back out into the world today, what will you choose to create with your very next response?